Are tariffs meant to be used for negotiation or as a complete economic sledgehammer? The global economy is shifting fast. Trump's trade war is back, inflation fears are rising, and markets are on edge. What does this mean for your investments, your job, and the world economy? In this video, we break down Trump's tariff bombshell, why it's a game changer. The inflation dragon, will the Fed really cut rates? The Gaza Conflict, a geopolitical flashpoint with far-reaching consequences. The world is at an economic crossroads. How will it affect you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like and share this video to keep the discussion going. Subscribe for more deep dives into global politics, markets, and history. Stay ahead of the curve. Watch now to understand how these forces will shape 2025 and beyond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods. They are levied by governments to control the flow of foreign products into their markets. They are designed to make foreign goods more expensive, thereby encouraging consumers to buy domestic products instead. This in turn boosts demand for domestic products, which can help local businesses thrive and grow. Governments often use tariffs to protect domestic industries and jobs from foreign competition. By making imported goods more costly, they aim to level the playing field for local manufacturers. However, the use of tariffs as a tool of economic policy, this uncertainty is largely due to the widespread use of tariffs have targeted a wide range of products from steel. Throughout history, countries have used tariffs. This leverage can be particularly useful in protecting certain industries. Tariffs can prevent, which can reduce their overall purchasing power. This can lead to a decrease in consumer spending, which is a critical component of economic growth. The current global trade landscape is fraught with uncertainty. This uncertainty is largely due to the widespread use of tariffs as a negotiating tactic. Countries use tariffs not just to protect their own industries, but also as a bargaining chip in trade negotiations. This can lead to a tit-for-tat escalation, where countries continuously impose tariffs on each other's goods. The United States, under the Trump administration, has been particularly aggressive in its use of tariffs. The administration has imposed tariffs on goods from China, the European Union, Mexico, and Canada. These tariffs have targeted a wide range of products, from steel and aluminum to electronics and agricultural goods. The goal has been to pressure these countries into making trade concessions. These actions have sparked fears of a global trade war with potentially devastating consequences for the global economy. A trade war can lead to a significant slowdown in global trade, affecting businesses and consumers worldwide. The debate over tariffs is not new. It has been a recurring theme in international economics for centuries. Throughout history, countries have used tariffs to protect their economies and to gain an advantage in international trade. Proponents of tariffs argue that they are necessary to protect domestic industries from unfair competition. They believe that without tariffs, local businesses would be unable to compete with cheaper foreign imports. They also argue that tariffs can be used as leverage in trade negotiations. By imposing tariffs, a country can pressure its trading partners to agree to more favorable terms. This leverage can be particularly useful in negotiations over issues such as intellectual property rights, labor standards, and environmental regulations. Opponents of tariffs counter that they harm consumers by raising prices. When tariffs are imposed, the cost of imported goods goes up, and this cost is often passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. They also argue that tariffs distort markets and lead to a less efficient allocation of resources. By protecting certain industries, tariffs can prevent resources from being used in more productive ways. The use of tariffs is a complex issue with no easy answers. There are valid arguments to be made on both sides of the debate. On one hand, tariffs can protect jobs and industries. On the other, they can lead to higher prices and economic inefficiencies. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to impose tariffs is a political one. It involves weighing the potential benefits to certain industries and workers against the broader economic costs. Nevertheless, it is a decision with far-reaching economic consequences. The impact of tariffs can be felt across the entire economy, affecting everything from consumer prices to international relations. These consequences must be carefully considered before any action is taken. Policymakers need to take into account the potential for retaliation, the impact on consumers, and the long-term effects on the economy. Although the goal should be to create a fair and balanced trade system that benefits all parties involved. This requires careful planning, negotiation, and a willingness to compromise. The escalating trade tensions between the United States and the future of international trade. Asian Economic High Composite Index, a key barometer of Chinese flight to safety, with many investors seeking refuge in have a cascading effect, impacting multiple businesses are finding it difficult to plan for the future. The IMF's analysis suggests that a mutually beneficial agreement can be reached. Each new round of tariffs brings with it a fresh wave of anxiety and speculation about the future of international trade. Asian economies, many of which are heavily reliant on trade, are feeling the heat. The region's dependence on exports means that any disruption in trade flows can have immediate and far-reaching consequences. China, the epicenter of the global manufacturing network, has seen its stock market experience significant volatility. The uncertainty surrounding trade policies has made investors wary, leading to sharp fluctuations in stock prices. The Shanghai Composite Index, a key barometer of Chinese equities, has tumbled amid concerns over the impact of tariffs on Chinese exports and economic growth. This decline reflects broader fears about the stability of the Chinese economy and its ability to weather the storm. Other major Asian markets, including Japan's Nikkei and Hong Kong's Hang Seng, have also experienced declines as investors fret over the potential for a protracted trade war. The uncertainty has led to a flight to safety, with many investors seeking refuge in less volatile assets. The interconnectedness of global supply chains has amplified the impact of tariffs on Asian economies. When tariffs are imposed, the effects are not confined to the countries directly involved. They reverberate throughout the entire supply chain. Many Asian countries serve as crucial links in the production process for goods that are ultimately consumed in the United States and other developed markets. This means that any disruption in trade can have a cascading effect, impacting multiple countries and industries. Tariffs on Chinese goods, for example, have ripple effects throughout the region, impacting suppliers of components and raw materials in countries like Vietnam, Taiwan, and South Korea. These countries, which are integral parts of the global supply chain, are now facing increased costs and uncertainty. The uncertainty surrounding trade policy is further exacerbating the challenges facing Asian economies. Businesses are finding it difficult to plan for the future as the rules of the game seem to be constantly changing. Businesses are delaying investment decisions, consumers are becoming more cautious in their spending, and overall economic activity is slowing. This slowdown is being felt across various sectors, from manufacturing to retail. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has warned that the escalating trade war poses a significant risk to global economic growth, with Asia particularly vulnerable. The IMF's analysis suggests that prolonged trade tensions could lead to a significant slowdown in global economic activity, with far-reaching consequences for both developed and developing economies. As policymakers and business leaders grapple with these challenges, the need for a resolution to the trade conflict becomes ever more urgent. The stakes are high and the future of global trade hangs in the balance. Despite the current turmoil, there is hope that cooler heads will prevail and that a mutually beneficial agreement can be reached. Until then, the world watches and waits, hoping for a resolution that will restore stability and confidence to the global markets. The Trump administration's America First trade doctrine, that tariffs are necessary to level the playing field, mined the World Trade Organization, WTO. The United States has been taken advantage of in trade deals for decades, prioritizes the protection of American jobs and industries, even if it means disrupting long-standing trade relationships and norms. One of the cornerstones of the America First approach is the use of tariffs as a primary tool for achieving trade objectives. The administration argues that tariffs are necessary to level the playing field and force trading partners to make concessions. This strategy has been met with mixed results, with some countries agreeing to renegotiate trade deals while others have retaliated with tariffs of their own. The America First doctrine has been criticized for its unilateralist approach and its disregard for the rules-based trading system that has underpinned global trade for decades. Critics argue that the administration's aggressive tactics have alienated allies, undermined the World Trade Organization, WTO, and increased the likelihood of a damaging trade war. The long-term implications of the America First trade doctrine remain to be seen. Nonetheless, it is clear that the global trading system is at a crossroads. The outcome of the current trade disputes will have far-reaching consequences for the global economy and the future of international relations. Will the US pursue allies like the EU and Japan, or will it maintain its strength in China? From NAFTA to now, a history of tariffs and trade disputes. The current trade tensions are not isolated incidents, but rather part of a long and complex history of tariffs and trade disputes. These disputes have shaped the economic landscape of nations and influenced global trade policies for decades. The United States, in particular, has a long history of using tariffs to levels. The intention was to protect America. In 1994, eliminated most tariffs between them, were seen as a tool to nurture fledgling industries and generate revenue for the government. One notable example is the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. This act was a significant piece of legislation that had far-reaching consequences for the global economy. This act, passed during the Great Depression, raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods to record levels. The intention was to protect American jobs and industries from foreign competition during a time of economic hardship. While intended to protect American jobs, the act is widely believed to have exacerbated the depression by stifling international trade and triggering retaliatory tariffs from other countries. This led to a significant decline in global trade and worsened the economic situation worldwide. In more recent decades, the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, implemented in 1994, eliminated most tariffs between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This agreement was a major milestone in the history of trade relations in North America. NAFTA was a landmark agreement that boosted trade and investment between the three countries. It created one of the largest free trade zones in the world and significantly increased economic integration in the region. Yet, it also faced criticism for contributing to job losses for the 21st century. While the US jobs were relocated to Mexico, where labor costs were lower, leading to economic dislocation in some American communities. The Trump administration's renegotiation of NAFTA, which resulted in the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, highlights the evolving nature of trade agreements. This new agreement aimed to address some of the shortcomings of NAFTA and modernize trade relations for the 21st century. While the USMCA maintains the core principles of free trade, it also includes provisions aimed at addressing some of the concerns raised about NAFTA, such as rules of origin for automobiles and labor standards. These changes were designed to ensure fairer competition and better working conditions across the three countries, reflecting a more balanced approach to trade. What will be the level of macroeconomic damage, and when will the Fed step in? The tariff tango, a delicate dance between businesses that rely on those goods often pass the imposition of tariffs has injected a significant degree of uncertainty into the macroeconomic environment, particularly in the United States. Economists are closely monitoring the interplay between tariffs, inflation, wages, and interest rates to gauge the potential impact on the overall economy. One of the primary concerns is that tariffs will lead to higher prices for consumers. When tariffs are imposed on imported goods, businesses that rely on those goods often pass the increased costs on to consumers in the form of higher prices. This can lead to a decrease in consumer spending, which can dampen economic growth. On the other hand, tariffs can also lead to higher wages for some workers. When domestic industries are protected from foreign competition, demand for domestic labor can increase, potentially leading to higher wages. Although this effect is often limited to specific industries and may not be enough to offset the negative impact of higher prices on consumers overall. The Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States, is closely monitoring the situation. The Fed has a dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices. Tariffs complicate this mandate by potentially pushing inflation higher, while also posing a risk to economic growth. Does the rubble of Gaza conceal heaven's pattern? Hexagram 23. Shandibo splitting apart. The Yijing warns that forced separation brings instability. Like sun-bleached bones on a tactical sand table, Trump's vision of Gaza as prime real estate echoes Sun Tzu's axiom. The skillful strategist shapes the enemy's dispositions while remaining formless himself. The displaced 90% become pawns in an imperial Wakey game, their ancestral squares marked for very slow development under foreign masters. The term Shandibo signifies decay and degradation, leading to peeling or removal. The hexagram illustrates the progressive decay and destruction of a bed and a house, symbolizing the detrimental effects of decay on individuals. Both the bed and the house represent places of comfort and security. Hence, the process of decay metaphorically suggests the gradual stripping away of one's safe havens. The phrase Bo Chuang Yifu Jiejin Zai Ye serves as a metaphor for imminent disaster, indicating that calamity has directly befallen the individual, naturally resulting in misfortune. Can broken walls be mended with golden mortar? Trump's property developer eye sees potential where Sun Tzu would perceive tactical vulnerability. The art of war cautions, attack by stratagem rather than by siege. Yet here, siege becomes strategy, displace masses, the negotiation partners in Waltz's diplomatic alchemy. Middle Eastern kings gather like generals around a sand map, tracing phantom borders in disputed dust. What awaits when the final stone is placed? Hexagram 64, Huo Shui Wei Ji. It is particularly crucial to be discerning about elements in dangerous opposition. Huo Zai Shui Shang, Wei Ji Junzi Yi Shen, Bian Wu Jufang. With fire above water, the hexagram Wei Ji advises caution. The wise individual observes carefully before making any judgments, always wary of the hidden dangers lurking beneath a beautiful exterior. Such prudence prevents hasty actions that might lead to deception and peril, or even to life-threatening consequences. It is particularly crucial to be discerning about one's position and choices. The Yijing's final hexagram whispers of those who embrace change with foresight and adaptability into your personal and financial future. Now secure your place and unlock the power of not fatal terrain, ground on which the army survives only through constant battles. Each rejected resettlement plan forms new battle lines, the diplomatic chessboard fracturing into infinite possibility grids. The timeless wisdom of Yijing teaches us that the only constant in the world is change. Those who embrace change with foresight and adaptability are the ones who thrive. Our Diamond membership is more than just a service. It is a gateway to deep insight, strategic clarity, and personal empowerment. This exclusive experience is designed to equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to navigate life's most complex challenges. By combining the ancient wisdom of Yijing with the latest advancements in technology, we provide a unique opportunity to gain profound insights into your personal and financial future. Every moment is an opportunity. Don't let it slip away. For just $3.99, you can begin a transformative journey that will enhance your understanding of the world and your role within it. Join us today and become part of a community dedicated to growth, wisdom, and success. Membership slots are limited, and this is an opportunity reserved for those who are truly committed to shaping their future. Take the next step now. Secure your place and unlock the power of knowledge to create a future filled with clarity and purpose. Hurry. This is your chance to secure your future with the ultimate analytical experience. Membership slots are limited, and only the most committed individuals will reap the rewards of this unparalleled opportunity. Act now to ensure you're among them.